Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Terry James Gingras, and this is Dr. G's ADHD Chat. This is a show designed to make the world safe for ADHDers. I'm a clinical psychologist. I I have ADHDers on both sides of my family. I have at least, I have a son that had the more active type of ADHD, the hyperactive type, and I have a daughter who had the sort of inattentive type, which is kind of the ways it works between boys and girls. And big deal was when we started out with all of this, there was not even a name for this, a real name for it. Okay. My kids are all, in their 40s basically. In 1980 that was the first time the APA diagnosed ADD or put ADD in the diagnostic criteria. And 7 years later, they changed it to ADHD for God knows what reason, other than to just keep us all confused. But it wasn't one of their finer moves. And I have been doing a series here, and we're about midway through. I really, honestly, didn't know there were so many substances you could abuse, but we're working through it. Today, we're talking about inhalants, solvents. I mean, basically, I think it was in the 90s, there was a big increase for some reason in sniffing paint. God knows who thought that was a good idea, but basically what you did is you take an aerosol can of paint and you sprayed it into a plastic bag and you snorted it. And surprisingly, some people found this pleasurable and became addicted to it. I remember I was in the Air Force at this time, and people who, some of the enlisted guys mostly. Actually, I've never heard of anybody but an enlisted guy doing it. Anyway, it gets lonely when you're living in the barracks by yourself. But they were mostly got made fun of. Oh, he's always got black paint on his nose, But one of the things I was, I have technically retired from private practice. And before that, I was doing all neuropsychology, which you don't get a lot of suicidality in that population. But I never lost a patient in spite of, in the military, it's like, if you're chief of mental health, you go home every Friday night worried about 3 or 4 guys who might try to hurt themselves. And I never lost. There was one guy who committed suicide, but he did it while he was in police custody in the police station. Okay, but he was a paint sniffer, and he made, like I was talking about, all the guys in the barracks made fun of him, because he always had black paint in his nostrils, and was not doing very well. His job performance was way down. But that's part of the solvents. You think about, they're everywhere. Spray paint, turpentine. Just all kinds of stuff. But if you're sniffing, it causes damage to your brain. And you have problems with problem solving, with memory, with attention. And the last thing an ADHDer needs is more problem with that than he was born with, or she was born with. It's kind of doing exactly what you don't want something to do for you. And there are a lot of interaction effects, but not a whole bunch of them are researched very well. It's not. not very sexy if you're a grad student. Say, what are you doing? Oh, I'm researching paint sniffers. It probably won't get you on the dais at many conferences, uh, but it's serious. I mean, it can kill you. There is such a thing as what is it? Sudden sniffing something or other. Anyway, and you it kills you. You die. So that's not a good thing, and it's also impairs your judgment. It impairs your cognitive ability. Oh, and will make it harder for you to adapt and adjust. And if you're already ADHD, that's hard enough without making it even worse. And these guys are constantly doing. I mean, the problem with ADHD is, some kids will be kind of cautious and won't do stuff, and an ADHDer will just, sure, why not? Let's try it. Uh, and then, like before they know it, they're addicted to something else. So it looks like it shouldn't be such a big deal, but it really is. And it'll really cause a lot of problems, make a lot of existing conditions worse. And, fortunately, or it's, it's easier to spot if they come in looking kind of loopy and they have paint anywhere, around their nose and mouth. They've probably been huffing some paint, and you need to take that real seriously. It is illegal, and it's it just messes up your life more than already. You're going to have troubles, maintaining good relationships and academic performance and all the rest of it. So don't do that. Okay. I'm thinking about this because, like I said, I still have a few of these to go. It's like 3 or 4. And, frankly, I'm getting a little bored, but we'll go through the whole thing. I've forgotten how many we've got. It's just a second. Okay, looks like we got 3 more. Yeah, so I guess we can handle that, huh? And these are the ones that are a little sexier, that most people have heard of and know about. Whereas I'm not sure if anybody nowadays even knows about so-called huffing paint. Now we've got electric cigarettes. Okay. I'm Dr. Terry James Gingras, and this has been Dr. G's ADHD Chat show, trying to make the world safe for ADHDers. We are looking at some interesting things in the fall, and hopefully, we'll be making some notices and that sort of thing about them. I don't talk about it on this show much, but I'm a certified high performance coach, which is one of the few programs that's actually got academic research behind it, which is why I got certified in it. But I'm starting, with closing down a lot of my private practice. I still kept half a dozen patients, I guess, but I want to build up my coaching practice. And I've done a lot of all kinds of performance coaching, including sports psychology. So, but I am wanting to, get some. Mostly, I would like to get executives and entrepreneurs for a while, and then but I'll evaluate it based on, I have some space in my schedule now, but I won't have for a real long time, I know. So, uh, you can go to my website and get some information. We just installed Calendly, which is, everything you do on the internet, you have to have a new piece of software, apparently. But it's a real kind of a neat program. It allows you to make the selection of when you want to get in touch with me, and we will look for people to be making some appointments on that thing. And the first deal is we're just talking about doing interviews and just making sure we have people who want what we can offer. Coaching, if you're not familiar with it, is it's kind of a continuation of the back when I was a wild-eyed young psychologist. Human potential movement, all that, making people be as much as they can be, as good as they can be, uh, it's sort of a carryover from that. It's not like doing therapy. Uh, you know, Doing therapy, the therapist is trying to get you from down here to where normal is, where we think of as normal. When you're doing coaching, you're coming in still doing pretty well, but we want to get you up higher and higher and higher. I will figure out this camera someday. But anyway, you want to be the well. I hate to use an army slogan, but you know, live up to your potential. Be as much as strong as successful as you want to be, as you can be, and the limits are, well, there aren't a lot of limits, honestly. If you're devoted to doing it, you can probably figure out a way to do it. And that's what coaches are designed to help you with. So, anyway, you're at all interested in that, or you think you know somebody, maybe you're even married to them who could use some, hey, feel free. Get on my website, which is terrygingrassphd.com, and get on Calendly and schedule an appointment. Okay, look forward to talking to you.